Hello and welcome back to the YouTube channel of Bethel Evangelical Free Church Hanley. I'm Pastor Gervais Charnley. This is another Cumbrian church in the series that started referring to as Pastor Charnley's Country Churches. And this is Stainmore Chapel up in the Cumbrian hills, not far from the A66 actually, and very, very close indeed to Brough. Now, it's a little bit after 4:30 on a spring evening, and so the light here is perhaps starting to fade, but very slightly. This is a magnificent example of a little chapel, one of these buildings that's built really for a community of a few local farmers, shepherds and such like, living up here in the hills. When this chapel was first built, well, there certainly was one here in the 16th century, but it's been rebuilt and altered so that what we see today, I suppose the oldest parts of, certainly character-wise, the character of the building today is mid-19th century on the outside and late 19th, early 20th century on the inside. It's a building, because of where it is and because of the poverty of the community, it's been allowed to fall into decay several times over its history. So what we have here is the result of the latest restoration. It's a very lovely building. You can see this nice flat ceiling here. It's basically a box, 4 walls and a roof. Flat-headed east window. You've got, you can just see there, the single pointed window on the north side. The rest of the north side, there's an old school attached. That's now no longer used, it's in private hands, but there's an old school attached on that side. So that's why there's just the one window on the north side. So we'll have a look around and see the various bits and pieces. Very nice. So we start, as usual, at the west end. North Stainmore, as you can see, it's not a very big church. In fact, it's very, very little. You've just got a few pews, and obviously these are from the most recent restoration on each side. You've got the pulpit over here. You've got a communion table. Early 20th century certainly had an Anglo-Catholic vicar. We'll see his memorial a bit later. The font is, I think, quite typical of this sort of thing. It's a little pillar font. Again, post-medieval, you don't need something you can dip people in. We have here the war memorial, or in this case, it doesn't commemorate all the people because there's a window that mentions others. So here we have Private Isaac W. Boosfield, West Riding Regiment, died June the 27th, 1917. Gunner Edward Boosfield, Tank Corps, died July the 31st, 1917. I have to look up what battle that was, but that's quite early for tanks. Gunner William E. Boosfield, Royal Field Artillery, June the 1st, 1918. Private William H. Sowerby, Durham Light Infantry, died April 11th, 1918. Make them to be numbered with thy saints in glory everlasting. So it's only a small parish here. There's North Stainmore. That's for the North Stainmore folk. It's only a small parish, and yet you've got those 4. And then here you've got 2 more. Here we have a window with St. Michael and St. George, to the glory of God and in memory of George Alderson of Culver and George Alderson of Barras, men of this parish who gave their lives in defence of righteousness and freedom in the Great War, 1914 to 18. This memorial window with a greater and large inscription down here. And George Alderson of Culver died of wounds received in action in Flanders. But George Alderson of Barras died from results of service 19th of September 1919 at Barras. In other words, he's invalided home but doesn't survive. There's a nice little pulpit. Everything here is little. Electric piano rather than organ. Nice communion rails, little priest's stall over there. And this memorial window, this is the other stained glass window other than the east window there. This is I am the Good Shepherd, having your remembrance, Thomas Westgarth, priest, vicar of this parish, 1911 to 1929. And obviously he's described himself as a priest, so that means he's Anglo-Catholic. Nice bishop's chair there for when the bishop comes visiting, which I don't think is very often, but I'm sure he does. And here we have a nice east window in memory of George William Dalston Eubank, LRCPS. It's LRCPS. And so we have pretty sure that's going to be St. Luke on the right, and not sure about the one on the left, unless it's St. Stephen, probably St. Stephen. Although he's depicted as a robe-vested priest, then if you're doing 19th century stuff, or imitating the 19th century, or so if you're doing 19th century stuff, imitating the medieval period, then you can do all kinds of funny stuff like that. So, here we are, John Abercrombie of Orgill Castle, a beloved physician, entered into rest April 1914. He endured as seeing him who is invisible. Orgill Castle is a real castle in the parish. And you can see there, just looking west, that the west windows do not line up with each other. There's the lower square one, which I presume to be older because it's a sash window, and the upper pointed one, not quite sure why they don't line up. I mean, you would have thought they could just draw lines on the wall, but apparently not. And little vestry at the back, just a curtained off area, and a door on the south side, just the south door. So it's all very, very nice, very cosy, and I'm sure very, very cosy in the winter. So we'll go outside and have a look around there. We can't really go around the north side because, as I said, the old schoolhouse is in private hands, but we'll have a look at what we can see. And so here we are outside at Stainmore Chapel. This little bellcot you can see, this is quite a common feature in the borders. You can find them in Cumbria, in Northumberland, and in border areas of Scotland. It's a funny little setup, but it works, and it's a part of the local scenery. Again, you see it's a very simple building, got a little crenellated porch, and then we've got just these two windows, and that's it. We'll have a little look around the outside. Like I say, it's very small but perfectly formed, as they say. So there we go. It has its little yard, although there's no burials here. The burials would be at Bruff, which is the mother church, as they say. Like I say, the old school is now in private hands, so we can't go round the north side. But you can just see here this nice little window there, the east window, and there's the porch. It is all, just pan around, you see here is the setting, and it's all just incredibly rural, and all sheep farm. You probably hear the sheep going by in the background, as sheep are wont to do, of course. There's a few farms, and there's the chapel. So that is basically Stainmore Chapel. Nice tiny little building. Do like this one. And so there you have it, North Stainmore Chapel, this magnificent little building. I mean, it really is. It's a splendid example of the sort of little chapels that are found scattered around the hills here, and it's great to find a building like this that's still loved and used, because more and more these little chapels are closing down, and people are, well, the parishes are depopulated, where people do go to church, and more don't. They go to the parish church down the hill, down the valley, and not to the little chapel. But it's great to find this little place still open, still very much used and well loved. Well, thank you for watching, and may God bless you and keep you until the next time.